and oh my God, I don't care. Just so cute, I'm gonna start crying. And I was like, fuck yes, here we go. Well, hello, welcome back to my channel. Just Shauna here to talk about some friggin' books that I finished or DNF'd in the end of July. The first one to talk about today, though, is a reread of Reign and Ruin by J.D. Evans. I recently finally got Roger to pick this up, and Roger was also agreeing with me and saying what I've been saying for years, that Elle, over at Elliot Brooks, absolutely needed to pick this up. So Roger and I both were like, Elle, come on. And Elle was doing a kind of romance, fantasy romance little project semi-recently, and she might still be doing it. And so she was like, oh, that was on my radar. I'll do it soon. And we got her to read it too. And so that's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to reread it with you. And as per usual with our like impromptu buddy reads that we plan, one of us finishes well before the other one. I started before her, and she still managed to finish it before I did. And I actually ended up giving this a slightly higher rating on this reread. And the reason I wanted her to try this specifically is because I love it, first of all, and I've gotten a couple other people to read it as well, and like Andy over at Andy Reads, she read it this year and blew through all 4 books. I think she read the Prelude also. So all 5 books that are out currently, and like new fave series for her too. It's such a good fucking blend of political, magical fantasy with like kind of elemental magic in this cool fantasy world with like cool politicking stuff going on, and then romance. And each book follows a different couple in this world, and they're all tied together. And it's not like paranormal fantasy series that I've picked up anyways that have a similar idea where it's like, you know, each book follows a different couple like in the same like circle. In those that I've picked up anyways, most of the time, the series is kind of like episodic. There might be kind of an overarching like plot throughout the series, but there's somewhere you can kind of pick up like and start from book 3 and then go back and read book 2 and then book 1, and like you'll still be fine. And there are some that do have an overarching plot, but this one is just, the plot is so much more integral to everything. And the characters that you're following are all very closely related. The overall premise, we start in this one, is Naime is the Sultana, the Princess Sultana. So her dad is the Sultan. And there are 6, or there were, I should say, 6 houses of magic. And like I said, it's kind of elemental. So there's like the first house, which is air. And then the second, I have notes, and I can't remember though. The second house is earth or something. And then I think the 5th house is fire. But there are 2 houses at the start of this that are no longer in this kingdom. Shit happened. There was a war where one of the houses in particular was considered like, ooh, dark and scary and dangerous. So they were like run out of town / the country. And now magic, so it's considered like a wheel. They refer to the wheel all the time. And they need to have the wheel be balanced. And a lot of people have kind of fell out of believing this or caring about this, but Naime is convinced that the issues in their country, and there's this neighboring country that's like becoming an empire and coming and taking over, and they want to do away with magic. And magic has been dwindling in their kingdom. And she's like, magic is going to get lost, and we are going to get wiped out. When they reach us, we're done for. Like, this is like this empire that's colonizing everything. We need to get allies, and we need to like repair the wheel. And there's this thing called the Circle of Chara, and she's trying to put this circle together to like restore magic in their kingdom to its full capacity and set themselves up to defend against this incoming empire that's going to come take over. So that's kind of the deal. And her father is older, the Sultan is older, and he has magic where he can like fuck with people's minds basically, and it takes a toll, and he now is elderly and suffering from kind of a dementia-like situation. And she's trying to hold shit together. There's this council of viziers who are after the throne. They don't want this woman running shit, even though her dad is like, she's my heir. But he loses his like memories a little bit here and there and forgets where he is and what he has agreed to. And she's trying to hold shit together so tightly and fix things. And she genuinely really cares about the people of her kingdom and wanting to do what's best for them. She doesn't care about the power aside from who the power can help. And that's why she wants to keep power and maintain the power that she's been given, and strengthen her power. So we start with her and her whole story and her love story, and then we go on from there. And so that's the overarching plot, though. In each book, you're following a different couple. So that's the deal. And I just love this series, and I liked this more upon reread. I think the first time I read this, I know, I was confused. There's a lot of names. There's so many names. I've been taking notes this time around, and just everyone has different names and titles. I also just am someone who gets a little bit more bogged down by that, I think, than others. So the first time I read it, it got me bogged down a little bit, but this time I was less confused. I've read the other books in the series thus far. Like, I know what the deal is. So I just was able to enjoy the writing and the story and the romance. The romances in this series are just like so well done. The chemistry, there's actual chemistry that is not solely based on they're hot and sassy, or he's hot and big and strong and has muscles and is a dick to other people but nice to me. Like, there's more to the fucking romances, like why they care for each other. They admire each other's personalities. Wild concept. And it's more like realistic in them falling in love with each other. In every book, like, some of them are kind of like enemies to lovers, some of them are kind of like friends or allies to lovers or whatever. There's always a little bit of friction at first of like, I don't know if I like you, or I straight up don't like you, but they like get to know each other and fall in love in a realistic way. And there's not like a shit ton of spicy scenes. So if you're someone who looks for romance simply for how hot and sexy and how many hot, dirty sex scenes there are, you might not love this series. But I will say that the sex scenes that are in it in each book, there's only like a couple, I would say, like at least one in each book. Most of them have like a few at least like sexy scenes, right? If they're not full on sex, but like getting hot and heavy. And like, they're well done. They're spicy. They make you blush a little bit. They're not like dirty, kinky BDSM shit or anything, but they're hot, you know? So I just think it's such a good blend. If you're a reader who is seeking out a good blend of fantasy elements, world building, magic, politics, and romance that is believable and charming and you root for, and also is different. Like, each book, the characters are different, the love interests are different types of characters, and the dynamics, like the dynamic between each couple is its own thing. It's not just like recycling the same type of female love interest and the same type of male love interest and the same kind of dynamic between the couple. It's not. It's different for each one. And it's just very well done. This is such a slept-on fucking series in the fantasy romance genre. I gave it 4 stars upon reread. I gave it 3.5 the first time, so up a little bit. I just love Naime too. Oh, she's just, she's amazing. She's so smart and clever. Oh, she's great. Then, in the middle of July, right around the same time, I finished The Last Devil to Die by Richard Osman. And this one I think I listened to on audio. Is that a true story? Yes. I got this from Libby from the library, and I listened to the audiobook. The TLDR, this is the 4th book in the Thursday Murder Club series by Richard Osman, and I read that there's going to be one more coming out next year, and I'm pretty sure that will complete the series. So I'm all caught up, which I love. And the kind of premise is these 4 old folks in a little old folks retirement community, little community village thing in England. They're friends. One of them used to be an MI5. One of them was just like a housewife mom lady. One was he a professor? No, a psychologist. Duh, Shoshana. Yeah, he was a psychologist. And then Ron was just kind of like blue collar, middle class guy, union, like organizer type of dude, like shit starter, you know, kind of fighting against the system in his heyday. And they're all friends and they solve murders. And it starts in the first book with them just like getting old police files that one of their friends had when she was a police officer and like solving those murders with the clues they have. But then real murders happen like in their vicinity that they are actively helping the local police force with. And so each book is just new murders happening and mystery afoot. So the TLDR with this is I really loved the emotional beats of this one. It made me cry in a few places and was like painfully poignant a few times. Really, really good emotional writing and like important things happening for our characters. However, the mystery plot in this one wasn't as compelling to me as the previous one. And honestly, the third book is my favorite, I think. It's the only one that I can see myself rereading ever. The other ones, even though I like them and I really like the characters and I enjoyed reading the books, I just don't think I would reread them because the mystery plots weren't as compelling. And I do like the characters, but like not so much that, you know, like I don't want to just like sit and hang out with them doing whatever. I want to read a compelling mystery with them hanging out. So I do plan on getting a copy of the third book, honestly, because it is a cozy kind of feel and I could see myself rereading that. But yeah, this one I don't think I could, even though I did enjoy it overall. I just adore the characters. They're so full of life. They're so fun. We got to like know a few of them a little bit more here as well and see different sides of them. I did really like that. Joyce stepping up, even though like I didn't find the mystery plot as compelling, it was still like a good plot overall. It was just a little bit less interesting. It felt a bit meandering. I'm sure it was largely because there was kind of a pause in the middle due to something major that was going on with one of our characters in their life, in their personal life. So I'm sure that contributed to the pacing feeling off to me. And even though that thing that was going on was like poignant and important and some of my favorite quotes were from it, like there are some very memorable quotes in here, but it still, I don't know, it just still felt kind of meandering. The quotes, man, oh, another quote of someone saying, "I don't know why we're on this earth. Truly, I don't. But if I wanted to find the answer, I would begin with how much I love you. The answer would be in there somewhere. I'm sure of it." Just so cute. I'm going to start crying. Like, so precious. Oh my God. So cute. So I did really enjoy it, but not like all-time fave or anything. I ended up giving this one 3.75 stars. A very solid high rating for me still. Then I had a DNF, and it was a NetGalley e-arc, which I really have been trying to not do so much. And this one was shorter. I don't know if it counts as a novella, 224 pages. The City in Glass by Nee Vo. I need to stop. That's my like explanation for DNFing. I DNF'd at 26%, so I gave it a minute. And I wrote, okay, I need to stop trying Nee Vo works. The Chosen and the Beautiful was 5 stars, and the first 2 Singing Hills psycho novellas I quite liked. But then that series fell off for me, and Siren Queen was a DNF, and now this also. The writing style is not bad. Like, Nee Vo's writing style is not bad in the slightest. That is not why I DNF. That is not why I haven't connected with most of Nee Vo's works. I'm just not the reader for Nee Vo, aside from The Chosen and the Beautiful, apparently. The just whimsical, fairy tale, dream world, fabulism, magical realism nature of Nee Vo's writing most of the time it's not for me. This one is okay, I can read the synopsis, I guess. A demon, an angel, a city that burns at the heart of the world. The demon Vitrine, immortal, powerful, and capricious. Capricious? I don't know how you say that, loves the dazzling city of Azrael. She has mothered, married, and maddened the city and its people for generations, and built it into a place of joy and desire, revelry and riot. And then the angels came and the city falls. Vitrine is left with nothing but memories and a book containing the names of those she has lost. And an angel, now bound by her mad, grief-stricken curse, to haunt the city he burned. So, okay, that's the general thing. It says, The City in Glass is both a brilliantly constructed history and an epic love story of death and of resurrection, memory and transformation, redemption and desire strong enough to burn a world to ashes and build it anew. That right there is why I was like, that sounds fucking cool. Sign me the fuck up. But man, Nevo's writing, I cannot. It was just like, I don't know what's going on, don't know where we are, don't know what's real or not, and my brain is, I'm just not the reader for it. And then another DNF, this one also from NetGalley, and this is because I'm dumb. It was on NetGalley, so I thought it was new, even though when I saw the title, I was like, that sounds familiar. Is that actually new? And I'm like, oh, maybe it just sounds familiar because I saw people talking about it in anticipated releases. Yeah, no, it was self-pubbed last year. It got picked up by a traditional publisher and is getting re-released this year, or did already get re-released this year. Can't quite recall. And that is Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wong. This one, the kind of blurb. Magic has made the city of Tehran an industrial utopia, but magic has a cost and the collectors have come calling. An orphan since the age of 4, Sayana has always had more to prove than her fellow students. For 20 years, she devoted every waking moment to the study of magic, fueled by a mad desire to achieve the impossible, to be the first woman ever admitted to the high magistry. When she finally claws her way up the ranks to become a high mage, however, she finds that her challenges have just begun. Her new colleagues will stop at nothing to let her know she is unwelcome, beginning with giving her a janitor instead of a qualified lab assistant. And then her assistant is was once more than a janitor. His name is Tomiel. Was a nomadic hunter from beyond Tehran's magical barrier. 10 years have passed since he survived the perilous crossing that killed his entire family. But working for a high mage, he sees the opportunity to finally understand the forces that decimated his tribe, drove him from his homeland, and keep the Tyrannish in power. Blah, blah, blah. It's a dark academia brimming with mystery, tragedy, and the damning echoes of the past. All right. So, sounded really fucking cool. And I will say, when I started this, the opening sequence, the opening scene is Tomiel and his family. The perilous journey was intense. I felt emotional. I didn't just met these characters. Didn't fucking know them from Adam. And when we were watching a bunch of these people die, and like the one that didn't die, realizing his culture being completely like decimated and wiped out, like just all of that, it was so good. And I was like, fuck yes, here we go. This is gonna be so amazing. And then I DNF'd at 35%. I seem to be very much in the minority here, but after that initial thing, because then we jump forward. Like, we jump forward 10 years. And then the rest of the beginning, from there until the 35% I got into, it just felt like painfully long. It was dragging on for me forever. And I seem to be very much in the minority per some other reviews I've seen. Info dump about the detailed facts about the magic system. Like, this magic system is like a hard magic system that we are getting like a lesson on. And oh my God, I don't care. I don't care, and I don't understand all the mathematics and the science and how it works, and it does this, and we have to do the formula just like this, and I don't care. It was being over-explained and just info dumped at me. It was like dull and simultaneously confusing for me. And then Sayana's blatant racist prejudices were just kind of too much. I assume with her being the main character, and again, when I post reviews or when I DNF and I leave my explanation, curiosity, I often will go look at reviews to see like what other people have thought. It didn't seem to be that anyone said that this continues. It seems like she grows as a character. So like that's fine and dandy, but I just was like, on top of being a little bored and like all this info dumping and this is dragging on a little bit, and now this girl is like such a privileged asshole kind of. Like just, and she wasn't even privileged because she didn't grow up with money or anything. But like her education-wise, she just had no awareness of the world around her aside from her little lab. Like one of those types of characters who's just like incredibly smart with like this one particular thing, and then just ignorant to the world around her, and had these like just like rude as fuck shit she was saying to Tamil about his people. And like, well, they aren't as smart, you know, and like shit like that where you're like, bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, first of all, that is a racist prejudice, but also, do you have no manners? Like, to say that to him? Like, she just was constantly saying shit like that as if it was like fact. Like, oh, well, oh, I'm so surprised that you can read, or like shit like that. Where I'm just like, I kind of hate you. Like I said, I'm sure because she's meant to be the sympathetic main character, I'm sure, and some stuff I saw, that she grows and learns and betters herself, which is great. Good for her. I'm not saying people can't do that. I've done some of that in my own life, being, you know, an ignorant younger person and learning more about the world around me. But I just didn't care to watch it happen in this case. I just was like, I don't want to get there. I don't care. I can see why a lot of people really like this, though. Wish I was one of them. Next up, I finished a nonfiction that I didn't write a whole review on. I'm not going to talk about it too much either here because I do want to do kind of a separate video talking about this book and a different book. But the book in question was Childfree by Choice by Amy Blackstone. Again, nonfiction, and it is all about being child-free, choosing to not have children, and what that means and what that looks like and how society handles that and all the things culturally, what it means, etc. And I quite enjoyed this. It's one of those nonfiction books where I'm like, the people who need to read this probably won't. People who have rude, backwards, just super traditional, rigid ideas of what it means to be a family, and like, if you're a woman that doesn't want children, your maternal instinct is broken and something's wrong with you. That's not womanly. Like that, those types of people who think in those ways need to read something like this, but like, are they going to pick this book up? Nah. So it was one of those where it's kind of preaching to the choir, which is like most of the nonfiction I read. I pick it up to learn more about the topic because I care about the topic, or I'm interested in the topic, or I can relate to the topic in some way. If I was going to give it a rating, I think it would go 4. But again, I didn't like do a review or anything yet. So I would recommend though, if it kind of is like, it solidifies, there's like data and statistics on things. I guess for me too, I'm someone who, my family, my immediate family and like friends and everything, I'm very fortunate, particularly my immediate family. Like my mom always wanted grandkids. She has 1 grandkid. My whole life, she just was like, I can't wait to be a grandma. She loves kids. She would have had more children if she could have. She was like all gung-ho, and I always thought I was gonna have kids. I always planned to have children. I love children. I have the maternal instinct, which is kind of a myth in general anyway, but I do enjoy children. I think I would be good at being a mom. I'm not afraid of being a mother as far as like, I'm gonna mess up my kids. Like, I think I'd be great at it. And so I just always thought I would. And over time, I just have changed my mind. And now I'm like, I don't wanna. I just don't fucking wanna do it. For a variety of reasons, I don't wanna. And of course, I'm sure if I changed my mind again and was like, Mom, JK, I'm gonna have babies, she'd be like, yay! She'd be happy. But she's not like shitty to me about not wanting to have kids. She's not like trying to convince me to change my mind. She doesn't give me little weird passive aggressive comments about it like a lot of mothers do, especially to their daughters. And like my dad, same, my brother kind of, he'll like, oh, you should give, you know, his kid like some cousins or whatever. But like, he's not that fucking worried about it or fussed about it. And it's just not something that I have to deal with, like, making my case to people in my personal life. So I could see if you're someone who doesn't want to have children and you kind of need ammo, good book to read. I'm pointing over here because it's over here. So sorry, you guys don't know that. But it's a good book to read if you kind of need to like get some ammo for those arguments or those conversations that you might need to have or you might have frequently. So would definitely recommend too for that. Even if it is kind of preaching to the choir and it's not maybe telling you any completely new information, I think it still can kind of give you that like extra backing. And then another DNF, The 100th Queen by Emily R. King. This is one that I've just had on my Kindle for fucking ever. I think it was a Kindle Unlimited. And I just was like, all right, I need to try to knock some of these out. Picked it up, DNF'd at 14%. I didn't really reread the synopsis when I picked it from my Kindle. I just went back to like one of the oldest ones on my Kindle Unlimited list and just grabbed it. Or no, Prime Reading, that's what it was. Amazon Prime Reading. like first reading or first look, I don't know, whatever the fuck it is, well over a year ago, probably 2 years ago. So I should have reread the synopsis. Once I started the book, I realized there was going to be heavy competition / trials / battle it out situation, and that's not my favorite thing. I don't really care for that too much. I can deal with it. I don't immediately hate it, but on top of sensing some insta-love on its way to me and seeing a certain trope, I don't really want to, like, it's not too spoiler, I don't think, because it was very obvious coming from a mile away that I think probably was meant to be like, ooh, a big reveal later on. I just decided it wasn't going to be for me. So I was enjoying the world building though, and the character development. I wasn't having any issues there, or like the writing and everything, the writing style, I guess, or use of language felt like it was solid enough. And again, the world was really cool and the character development was fine from the 14% that I read, but I was getting the vibe of like, it probably will be like a 3-star-ish read for me. And the last one I will talk about today is The Rose and the Thorn by Michael J. Sullivan. This is volume 2 of Rereading Chronicles, my first time reading through Rereading Chronicles. I don't have a shit ton to say. All these tabs are things for my notes that I'm taking for this entire world, because next year when I do the read-along, I don't think I'm going to reread these at that point, so I'm taking my notes on these on my first read-through. And this was a really fun installment of this Rereading crew world, little adventures of Royce and Hadrian. It's just fun and entertaining to see how Royce and Hadrian got together and started this whole little mercenary business they have in Rereading Revelations, and just the shenanigans they get up to, and getting to know some of the other characters that we see in Revelations, but we don't see as much, and we're getting a lot more of them here. Like Gwen, she is amazing. Love her. So yeah, I don't have a shit ton to say about it. These are kind of, you know, adventure of the week, little episodic things, and they're enjoyable, they're fun. I gave this 3.75 stars, and I'm not sure when I'll pick up the next one. There's a 5th book coming out soon, and I did buy the box set of that. And I think I got the paperback too. At any rate, I don't know that I'll finish or I'll get totally caught up this year. Maybe. I mean, I have plenty of time. It's mid-August. There we are. That's all the books I will be talking about today. And that is the last of the books that I picked up in July. So next installment will be some stuff from here in the beginning of August, if I finish a book ever. I'm in the middle of 4 right now, so wish me luck. Oh, actually, no, I'm in the middle of 3 because I did decide just a few hours ago to DNF one of them. So I've already got a DNF for August, but nothing completed yet. Let me know if you have read any of these or if you are interested in any of these, what your thoughts are. And if you don't have anything to say, of course, you can just leave an emoji if you want to say hi and let me know you're watching. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.